So you could use the pen tool to outline all of the lettering, just to kind of show it to you. So I'm just quickly drawing that out. And if you find that easiest, I'm just going to use a font. So that gives me the lettering. So I just kind of quickly gone over that. But the other option is to take the text, just to show it to you, and go to the two lettering styles. And in this section, Arial Black is the font that you want to take a look at. And I'm just going to go to Command or the Shift X to switch it so the outline is in the text, and just make this pretty large. Now the piece that has the stroke on here is relatively large, so I'm just going to minimize that. So the stroke palette is right here, and when you take a look at it, here's the weight of it. I'm just going to bring it down to 1 point so I can see it a little bit better. Okay, so this is what happens. So I'm just kind of stretching it out a little bit, and I'm going to duplicate a copy just off to the side and come back here in case I make a mistake. Under Type, I'm going to go to Create Outlines, and what that does is that it makes this so that these pieces are editable. I'm going to go to Object and ungroup them, and this allows these letters to be different on either side. So I can take the direct selection tool and select parts of them, of this section, and just move it over. I can take the selection tool on this one and just squeeze it up if I need to move this part over or extend this over to this side. And you'll see that this section, I could even drag this and move it over a little bit for that piece. And you'll notice that this has a extra point in there. I can go into the pen tool and go to delete anchor point, and this will allow me to take one of these points out of this selection there, so you can kind of see that. So it's just a matter of using the pen tool or just using some of the type, whichever one you are comfortable with. And that's all that this is. I'm just adjusting it to fit some of the drawing here, so it builds that part up, and you can see it coming over to the side. So that's two ways. So you can use, just showing you both directions on how to illustrate that selection here. So I'm assuming that these are straight pieces, and then you can see them are joined together. So I'm just going to use the Pathfinder to make them into one piece. So that makes it a little bit easier. As I take a look at these little windows that she has, I'm just going to use the ellipse tool to make a shape. Take the rectangle tool and just place it right over the top of it. And just so you can see it, this is just two color shapes, and just use the Pathfinder to make the section come underneath, and then using the stroke to make it just a little bit smaller, and I'll give it a color just to make it easier to see as I go through this. And just using the option to duplicate it and dragging it across and making this together, just using the object and grouping it together and making it along that line. So here's another place. I'll just option and shift key to put a copy of it right over here. Okay? So you can start to take a look at how these are placed together. This section kind of has the little turret. I'm going to make a piece up at the top and minimize the point size here. I'm going to go to half the size of it and just deselect it, and then make a little square up at the top. Just click on it and do an option to duplicate it. So I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it. So here's the top of it. Put one in the middle, both down here at the end. I want to make these so that they're all the same distances, equal distances apart. And when you go into a palette called a line, you can see these are all sectioned across. And when you get down to the section here, it distributes them. When you click on them, it goes all the way to the page. So I undo that and click on this to be the key selection. So you can see them as they, now they're on top of one another, and now do it as the selection. So now they're all together. So you have these options to work from. And then I'm just going to shift key this one, have my pathfinder, and just make it into that one shape. Okay? And then there's a stroke palette. To just make that section, I can make a line, and then I can just make the flag with the pen tool. So you see this part. So you can kind of use that to an adjustment. That gives you that section. So it'll give you a little bit of a flag shape. So here's the pen tool. Just shift key it. Make it off to the side there. And there you have this flag piece. And when you back up, you see she has this on both sides. So I'm just going to select this and group it together. And just option and set a piece right over to the side. And here I'm just going to reduce it down a little bit. So now I have that piece. So there's the initial selection. Down here's this little entranceway. I'm going to take let's use an ellipse tool to make that shape. And again, take the rectangle tool and just eliminate that part. So shift key that. And again, using the pathfinder, just minus the front from the top is a quick, easy way just to use the shapes to build that part up. And then there's a line segment tool that you can use. Just click, hold the shift key down, it'll keep it nice and straight. And just fit that right inside there. And then take the selection tool, just going to give this a light color. And there you have all these parts. Now I'm just shift keying all these together. And group it together and just move it so you can see it. There it is all grouped together. Give this piece a color. And down below it has a section like a base. Let's fill this and then just go to Arrange, Object Arrange, and send this to back. And now you have this piece kind of orchestrated. Now, when I look up close at this one, this has to be extended, so I'm just going to double click on it, and it takes it to the isolation mode. Everything else is dimmed down. Just click on the anchor point and drop that up there a little bit. And click on this. Give it that section to it. And then here, when you just hit the arrow to come back out of it, it'll let you see that section to it. And there you have it. So it's just a matter of taking a look at the graphic, seeing what that's going to be, and getting yourself into that section there.